Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. Today we're back on the 67. Okay, just finished painting the black on the 76. We're going to let it dry for 3 or 4 days. Then we're going to mask off the black design and then paint the rest yellow. So if you haven't been following along, follow along on that and this. All the cars I do pretty much are on a playlist. So if you just click on my, Clunkers and Classics, and then click on playlists, you'll see the playlist for mostly all these cars that I've done. So you can keep up to date. Okay, so last video on this one, we're on, is this number 4 or 5? We haven't done a lot. There was like an introduction and the rear end dilemma. Got a rear end in it. But last video we did the main trunk floor patch, the 2 braces that the gas tank sits up against, right here, and then this rear reinforcement bar. Okay, so this episode we're gonna change out the deck lid. Now I repeated a lot of or said a lot of stuff last video. People always complain about rambling too much. Well, I gotta explain everything, so I'm not gonna repeat myself too much. That's why you gotta watch the last episode. I do have, when I bought this, they gave me a used deck lid. This deck lid was all smashed up, and I think they were pushing it around or something, and then kind of rusty here. Give me another deck lid, not much better shape. Better, but it's got a big dent right in here. We got to straighten that out. But we got to get a deck lid on there, because like I mentioned in the last video, we got to make sure that the gaps here, see, this is all pushed up from being pushed right here. We got to make sure that this lines up good, because we're all loose here, cutting the quarters and stuff off, and eventually we got to cut the whole quarter off, and we want to know exactly, we want to be sure that all this gap and everything is good. That way we just have to concentrate on this back or front tail panel area. And we know it's not going to be this, that, or this, or the deck lid. Okay, so I got the mini tubs and wheel wells to do, but it's such a big job that I don't think I'll get it all done in one video. I think what I want to do is get a bunch of little stuff or smaller stuff done in this video. So we're going to do the deck lid. Now we'll go over there in the parts. My tiny house I'm using as a storage. It's all painted under here. We just got to scuff it down and paint it black. This car is going black because that's a factory color. Factory paint code and everything is black. And might as well paint it. It's black with the red deluxe interior. I'm not too sure on the red interior if we're going to go back with that, because we want to paint stripes on it. I don't want to paint red stripes. I don't think. I'd rather paint them silver or something. Okay, so we're going to do some painting. We got to get this thing up on jack stands, and we got to get under there and paint all the bottom of this floor black. We want to get that out of the way because we got to put the gas tank in. And before I put the gas tank in, I want to paint it black as well. And probably the straps. So I'm not sure where I can paint all this stuff. I usually paint it out here, but we got a 100% chance of rain tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure when. Morning, afternoon, evening, I'm not sure. but I would just lay out all this stuff here on some tires and paint it all. But there's so much rain almost every day. Today wasn't no rain, but it was probably the hottest day. It was like 90 something degrees today. It was hot as hell. That's why I'm out here at 7 o'clock at night, because it was too hot during the day. I painted this in the morning, and it got too hot to work. So anyway, so we got to get the gas tank in there to decide how to mount a brace or something to mount the 2 shocks and the sway bar ends. And we'll get a better look at that once I get it jacked up in the air. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to do, I don't have any square stock. I'm thinking I might have to buy a piece of square stock to go from that frame rail to that frame rail, so I can mount shocks and the sway bar ends. 1 or possibly 2. And I'm not sure where to put it until I actually get that gas tank up in there and mount that and make sure that's in the right spot and everything. Okay. Okay. Then I got these whatever they're called. We went over these last episode. The trunk floor extensions, quarter extensions, whatever you want to call them, inner. It's from here and goes, and that welds on, but more importantly, it comes across. I already cut a chunk off of it, see? This welds to the new one. The new one actually comes over to about here. So let's pretend it, wasn't cut. It would weld in here like that to this, and then where it comes over here, that's where the new quarter panel would weld to, in here. So I think we can, although this is attached to the wheel well right there, we can just chop this wheel well off. Well, we're going to chop more of this quarter off for now, and then we're going to chop that wheel well off from here, and we're going to get this new piece welded to the floor, to this, and we won't weld it. We got new wheel wells, so we're not going to weld it to the old one. We'll just leave it off. So that way, when we do the wheel wells and the mini tub wheel wells, we don't have to worry about this. Both sides, we're going to get them welded in there, and they'll be all ready. The only thing I don't like about these wheel wells, you can see it better here, it's supposed to be, see how this is flat? This is supposed to be flat down here. It's bent up a little bit. The problem is, you can't, is it still there? I swept most of it up. Tons of dirt and crap. This side not too bad, but that side below, it fills up with crap, and you can't get it out because there's no room in here. There's just enough room for like a finger to go through. You can't get in there and get a vacuum in there. You can't scoop it out with your hand or nothing. I don't like them. In the past, what I've done is I have cut this off right in here, so you can actually get down in there with a vacuum or your hands. Whether we do that or not, I don't know. Will it detract any value from the car? I don't know. Okay, so like I stated in the last video, the tail panel goes on last. Tail panel goes on after those quarter extensions, the wheel wells, and the new quarter panels are on. Basically, we're going to put that whole tail panel and the quarter panel on at one time and line everything up. And then we got the middle piece here. Okay, so let's go in the shed and we'll go over the parts. And then I'm going to pull them all over there. I guess I could probably slide them in the garage there at the end of the night. I'm going to work on it as much as I can. If it rains, we'll stick them in the garage. Okay, let's Let me plug in one of these lights here. Oh, hang on just a second. Pull out the little plastic. Okay. Okay, here's the trunk. The ones I was just showing you, and that's a little deal. I'd like to cut that damn thing off. Anyway, those are two we want to weld on right now, and this will go on. This is a little gas tank cover brace thing. That'll go on after the tail panel, which is right here. This is the whole tail panel. I said that goes on because at the end, because the quarter panel, it doesn't weld to here. It'll weld up here, these little tabs, but not right here. The quarter panel just sits up against that flush. Okay, so that's the last. We got here, got the 2 quarters, 2 floors, 2 floor braces. Okay, we gotta, that's gonna be a big job, cutting out that dash piece. And it's all rusted under here with the windshield mounts. I can see it from looking in, so I just went ahead and bought it. Okay, this is the Decklid here. We'll bring this out. Somebody painted it red, so we'll just scuff that down, paint it black. But I don't know if I gotta, we'll bring that out. I'll show it to you here in a minute. But it's dented at the back. We need to kind of straighten that up before we paint it and mount it, in case we have a 2x4 on this side of it and we're trying to hammer it. We're gonna scratch up the paint. Okay, so there they are, the Decklid 2/4 extensions. Okay, the gas tank. Here's the gas tank here they give me with the car. It looks like a new gas tank. It's all clean in there. It looks like they put it on there on a car and for 5 minutes and pulled it off. It looks like a new sending unit, but we'll take it out and make sure that it's good. And I gotta figure out the sending unit wire has a special little plug on there. I doubt I have one. We'll have to make sure we got one, because this mounts up in there and you won't get it on or off, I don't think, without taking it off again. And see, somebody, that's why we got to paint it. Somebody painted it blue or something. But like I said, I looked in there and it looks brand new, so we'll bring that over and check it out more. Okay, so we got that out, and then here's the bolt kit for the gas tank straps. There's the straps. I don't even open them. We'll bring them out, make sure they fit, and then the bolt kit, make sure we got everything from there. I'm pretty sure that's all we need right there. Them two and the 2 little ones there. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it for now. And we'll try to get all that stuff on there. We'll go from there. We'll see how much time we got, and see if we get delayed by the rain and all that stuff. So yeah, if I can get all that stuff on there, then we can devote a whole video to the wheel wells and mini tubs right here, inner and outer. Basically inner and an outer wheel well, but the inner one is deep and it sits in a few inches farther than the factory one, so you got more space for a wider tire or wider rim or offset rim or whatever. So yeah, we kind of want to do them all at one time. Okay, so yeah, let me get all this stuff we're going to use over to the shop, and we'll go over it over there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, got all the parts over here. It's the quarter extensions full kit. Took these out of the package. It's just a little piece of rubber around the ends there. I thought it was going to be the whole. I know they're supposed to have some type of sound deadening things around there, but I don't have them, and I didn't order them. Okay, here's the deck lid. She is dented on the inside right here, and anyway, it's, I don't know how good you can see it. It's all sticking up here. Yeah, it's dented right here. I could spend $300 for a new one, but, and this looks like a Bondo spot. So, it ain't in the greatest shape, but do I want to spend $300 or fix this one? Okay, there's a gas tank. I took the sending unit out. No sock on it. But I did buy some socks earlier, fuel filter socks. There's two different sizes for GM. I forget what they are, 3/8 and 5/16, something like that. Anyway, this takes the big one. So we're gonna stick that one on there, stick it back in there. Got the seal on there. I'm gonna hunt around, see if I can find something for that. There should be one on those parts cars, 77 Camaros. If I can find one with just a wire hanging over here or something, enough to, oh shit, what the hell is that? Someone drilled a fucking hole in it. Damn it. See, there's no vent on these. Well, shit. I think I got something to plug that with. I don't want to put JB weld over it or nothing, but I think I got this little deal, little valve with a rubber seal on both ends, and it can tighten it on there, I think. Let me check. If not, we'll have to check. Make sure there's no other weird stuff going on with it. That might be for a vent. Probably not a factory vent. I know my 69 Chevelle, I thought it was coming out of here. Little vent, you stick a little filter thing on there. But this one doesn't have anything. Anyway, okay, I'll figure out what I want to do, and I'll be back. Okay, guys. Yeah, this, I remembered I had something like this. I bought one of these for the Nomad, and bought two of them. So, put it in, goes in the other way. Got a little gasket on each end, and then tighten it up. Just, I have to get something in there and pull that through that hole. It'll be sticking out like that. And then we can either use it for a vent or just plug it off. But yeah, it may need a vent. It may it may need one, or else it'll. Anyway, we put that on there. I thought I bought two of them when I did my Chevelle, but it's been years. But it's a little factory deal, like I said, that comes up with a little filter on it, and that's probably what we'll do with this, is put something up here with a little filter on it. But anyway, we'll worry about that later. Let me figure out how to get this on there and tighten it up, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, this gas tank came in the 69 van, and the guy thought it was for the van. Well, it wasn't even close to being fitting for the van, but you know what? It's identical to a 69 Camaro, or 67 to 69. So the problem is, it's had a dent. I banged it out with a deal. Looked like there was a dent right here. So I banged it out from the inside, but it doesn't look worth a shit. I think there's a little... Anyway, I don't know. I think it's 130 bucks for a new one. So I thought, well, maybe I'll use this one, but it's got a big dent there, some dents there, so it ain't much better. Anyway, I used the cinder unit deal on there, and then this is different. This is like permanently on there for the negative, and this one needed to clip on there, so I got a wire and clipped it on, and just kind of put some tape to hold it down, because the negative will be at the back. Then this one comes up through the trunk to the wiring harness. So this deal, I got that in and tightened down. I said, we'll either cap it off or put a vent. Anyway, I got that done, and bang this into this deck lid up a little bit. We don't know, we'll have to put it on there. But yeah, she's creased right along there. But once we get it on there, we can hook up the V4 stud puller, so we can pull all that out. We'll mess around with it. I mean, if it's too far gone, and I can get another one, but like I said, it'd be 300 for that, another 100, and I don't know if that was including shipping, 138 for that. Where like I always says, you save money at the beginning of your build. I know when somebody buys a car and they get a bunch of money for it, and they just immediately, I mean, I had a guy over the other day, well, not the other day, a while back, buy that El Camino front end parts, and that's what he was doing. He was online checking everything. He needed a whole new front end. He's checking the hood and the fenders and the header and the bumper and the hood hinges. And he says, oh shit, he says, by the time I added all that up, he didn't say how much it was, because but anyway, I sold him the whole front clip for like 500 or something, and they weren't in that great a shape. I mean, the bumper had holes in it drilled for fog lights or something. But anyway, he was happier than a pig in shit, because he was probably about to spend $5 grand, and instead he got most of the parts for 500. So that's what you don't want to do at the beginning of a build, when you got all the money in the budget and you just start buying new shit. Because you want to save that stuff. If you got extra money at the end of the build, which nobody ever does, because they always go over budget, but if you got money at the end of your build, then you can buy some better stuff, newer stuff, new stuff, stuff like that. Kind of like what I did with this Camaro here. I come out so good on it, and I decided to spend 240, 50 bucks on new tires. So so anyway, that's the way I do it. I do it the opposite to what everybody else does. So yeah, we're gonna try to save all this stuff. Just like, you know, bought the patch panel, 100 bucks instead of the $700 trunk floor. You know, bought the floor side patches, you know, instead of the whole floor, for whatever it was. I don't even know what a whole floor was, 1,000 bucks, something crazy. Okay, so anyway, yeah, it'll look like shit with the dents in it, but let me put on the deck lid for now and just see how that lines up and everything. Then we'll have to take it back off, paint it, and then put it back on. I wanted to mount, and then we'll have to paint that gas tank and mount that on there. But I don't know, let me do the deck lid first, so we can see that. We can see it actually going on. The springs are creaking and stuff, but they still work. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay guys, of the old deck lid off. Newish one on. Been adjusting it there. It seems to adjust okay. It's sticking up just a hair right here and down a little bit right in here. But that's all right. We can adjust that up. But yeah, we got, you probably can't see it, but it's right. These lights will come on here in a little bit. But yeah, big dent right here. Now it's supposed to, well, here comes the clouds. See, it's supposed to rain tonight, but I didn't watch the news enough to know exactly when. So do I want to grind all this off and leave it all bare metal when it gets rained on? Probably not. But anyway, I think that's going to work. I was worried about it being all, you know, twisty and really messed up, but it looks like I can work with it. And like I said, we'll use the Vevor stud dent puller thing there, and I think we can get a good ground on it and pop it all up right in here. Pop it up real nice. Real nice. Yeah, there's one light. Solar lights. So yeah, much better than that one. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this dent out and fix this perfectly before I paint it, before I pull it off again and paint it all. So, and we need to jack it up and paint underneath. So I kind of want to do all that at once. Gas tank underneath the deck lid, underneath the trunk. I want to do it all at once, so I don't have to mix up, waste a bunch of thinner cleaning the gun every time. So yeah, so I'll be back. Okay guys, about 11 o'clock at night. I painted the gas tank, and underneath here, probably can't see very good. Got the straps mounted in there. Anyway, radio keeps interrupting with thunderstorms. If you can hear the thunder, see the lightning. I haven't looked at a radar in a while. I don't know if it's going to hit here or not. It may, but it may ruin my gas tank paint job, but oh well. Be at it tomorrow. 100% chance of rain, but maybe there'll be a few hours here and there where it'll stop and we'll come out here and get some work done. Yeah, you can see this lightning up here. But anyway, see you tomorrow. Okay guys, what should have been a 2-minute job ended up being a 2-hour job, because it's either these gas tank straps were too short or these bolts weren't long enough. No matter what I tried, it would not. It was too short to fit up to it. So I had to take some other bolts and welded the new bolt onto an inch or two of the other bolt. Anyway, I got it bolted in there. So I was trying to figure out how to do the shocks, and somebody said, oh, they make a shock relocation kit. Yeah, they do, but the problem is we got a blazer rear end in here, and these mounts are different. Usually you would have one in front and one behind the rear end. I just looked on my Nova and on the 76 Camaro. But this blazer, I got them both here, and this one is a little closer to that frame rail than the other side. And I got 2 good sets of shocks of this style. Now a Camaro, well, the 76 Camaro, yeah, and this one too, it's supposed to have a point on top that goes up through do the deal. I think I showed that earlier. Has a hole up there. And they sent me the wrong shocks. I mean, I ordered these shocks for the 76, which is the same design, and they sent me the wrong ones, and they said, oh, it's been past 30 days, screw you, you're not getting a refund. So I tried getting a refund through eBay and PayPal, no deal. So I got a brand new set of these shocks, which are identical to the Blazer rear end shocks, which are actually good too. So the bottom right there would mount to this, and then we got to figure we can either set it like that or like that. I don't know how good you can see, it's kind of dark. So yeah, could I put a bar from there to the other side? Yeah, I probably could, but I don't know. I got these little pieces of square stock here, and I was thinking of putting them like that, like one there, and then it would screw into, say, there. I'll probably do this. Alright, do this here so you can see better. Something like that, you know, one like that. One like that, one like that. Drill a hole, bolt them into these bars, weld these bars to the floor. Because to mount two of them in there, you would need two bars going all the way across. See? And the relocation kit would it only has the hole for the factory ones, which would be, you know, just a hole in one like that in the middle. So anyway, I was thinking about like that, welding them onto the bottom of the floor. I think they would come up. Is it in here? I think in here somewhere, or was it here? Oh, yeah, before the frame. Yeah, right up in here. Could either also weld a plate or something on this side too. So you have them. It would look like this. Look like this through the bottom. Up like that. Could weld two, so it even makes it stronger. Anyway, but this side's a little closer to the frame, so the shock's gonna have to be over a little bit. Anyway, I'm thinking about doing that. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, we may move on to the see, it looks like it's gonna rain again. It rained all last night and everything, so I don't know whether I want to, you know, how good you can see this now. It's all dented in right here. I grind that down and pull it out. You can either do that or do the I got them underneath the Camaro out of the rain, or start with these quarter extension deals. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you see that's where the shock would go up in here. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna think on that. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I cut off 4 sections of the small square stock I got, and I got a little nut zert rivet tool here, and put in 4 of them. So that's the top of the shock there, with the 2 braces. Okay, so basically what I want to do is put that up in here and weld it. I just put that on there just to see what it looks like. Now this will this deal here will move like this, so we can move that around, and we'll set it up where we want it. Of course, we'll have it all ground down, this and the other surface there, and then we'll set it up where we want it, and then tack it in there, and then unbolt it and weld it in there solid, and then we can mount the shock in there. Now, I didn't show last time the starting to rain out, the sway bar deal here. This is all off the S10, and this, you can see the gas tank's in the way. If it wasn't in the way, I could mount it up there on the frame. Same type of thing, make a little bracket. What can I do? I'm not sure yet. We're gonna have to wait on that. Gas tank's already in there, so this won't reach past there. I don't know if I can get this far up past the gas tank and mount it up in there. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to mess with that later. Just dealing with the shocks right now. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, next day. That's where the mount's gonna be. Drilled 8 holes. It's gonna go up there like that. I'm gonna weld it to that. I'll look at it through the bottom. Right there. Just gonna weld the hell out of it. And I think that's pretty thick metal. But I got some extra, actually from doing the trunk of this, I got some extra pretty thick metal. Well, I don't know. I think the original one seemed thicker. Anyway, I'm thinking about putting a piece of metal over top of that. After I weld this, grind it, prime it, I'm gonna weld a big piece of metal over there as an extra brace. Okay, well, let me put this shock in there, kind of prop it up, and weld them in there. I'll be back. Okay guys, there's that all ground down. Thinking about putting a plate over top of there. Okay, so it's just my welder grounded on there. That's it there. I'll put some paint on it. So yeah, it's just bolted into there. Now at the bottom, it looks like it should have a spacer or something there. These are the shocks that I bought for the 76 Camaro that they sent me the wrong ones. Then these are the ones off the Blazer, and they're actually, see, they're the same, but they're longer, and they bolt up the same. But this does have a number on it. I should actually 33082. I should look that number up and see what actual car it fits, so I know. But I'll write that down in case, you know, me or the next owner needs to replace the rear shocks, he'll know what to get instead of trying to order the factory ones, which won't be right. So yeah, this is the same length here and here, and I don't remember taking a spacer up there, but I had a box here of spacers, but the bolt hole's too small. So I don't know. Well, and I tried putting this in, that was a little bit too big too. But anyway, we'll worry about that later. Okay, let me figure out a bracket or something for that. Then we got to do the other side. So I'll be back. Okay guys, I got this piece of metal here. Part of a floorboard extra. So it's pretty thick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that right like that. And I'm going to tack it in there and then bang it down with a hammer there once it's tacked in there. But basically, yeah, it'll be welded into here. So I think that'll be strong enough. So I'm going to put some weld-through primer on that in the back there and tack that in there. I'll be back. Okay guys, we got that plate welded in there. Fixing to put some primer on it. That's it. We'll smooth it all out with the rest of these welds later on. Probably spray it with some truck bed liner after it's smoothed out a little bit better. Okay, well, let me start it on the other side. Okay, guys, I drilled 2, 4, 6, 8 holes just like the other side, welded them up. And of course I put some extra welds from here, this side. And anyway, it's all painted up. You see the other one there. So I think that'll be okay. Let me know what y'all think. I think it'll be strong enough or it'll pop through the trunk floor. I think it'll be all right because, like I said, here's the original ones here. Although it's double steel and curved and all that stuff, it's a lot stronger. But anyway, I think this will work. I'm going to cut out another piece of metal like the other side and weld it on there. Drill a bunch of holes and strengthen it up. Anyway, I'm going to go in for dinner and then I come back, finish that up, and maybe start on the trunk extensions. Or maybe leave that till tomorrow. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay guys, I got another piece of metal welded over there like the other side and primed up, so I think that'll be strong enough. Okay, going to put on this piece here. I got my zip cut wheel and we're gonna chop off a piece of this quarter panel, get it out of the way. This edge here welds on right here to the wheel well. This is the inner wheel well here. The quarter panel goes to here, welds on onto that wheel well. Well, we're not replacing the wheel well right yet, but we got to cut this out of the way, and then we'll just leave this open. We're not going to weld nothing to that right now. We'll get the new wheel well and the mini tub maybe next video, and then the quarter panel welds on here. But what we need is well, wait till we get the quarter panel. The floor, this will weld underneath the floor, I believe, and then this will go up there, and this flange here from the reinforcement will weld in here somewhere. So we'll have to get some measurements and drill some holes there. And like I said, the rear tail panel will weld to this piece. Or no, the quarter panel will weld to that. Okay. So anyway, yeah, let me just cut this section out of the way and cut this wheel well out, and I'll be back. Okay guys, this you can see it's welded underneath the floor. That's it right there. But instead of drilling out all them spot welds, we're just going to cut this right off here. Okay, that'll drop this. And then this top here, we'll just cut this right along this line here and drop that off. And then this, we're going to cut the wheel well just right across here into here. We got to save this lip here, so we'll cut it as far as we can and probably just use a little chisel or a hammer and chisel or whatever and just pop that last one off. Then this and this should come off at once. Okay, and this is part of the quarter panel here, still welded to it. Okay, so let me do that. Be right back. Okay guys, next day. Okay, so we'll look at this side. Here's what I cut off. Like I said, cut off part of the wheel well, which we're not going to put on right now. But yeah, I cut it right along that line there. It was actually underneath there like that. So I cut that off, and then the top piece here, cut that off from the top along there. So I ground down all the edges there, and like I said, it's really not worth trying to cut out all them spot welds. I guess you could, because then it would give you holes to mount this, but either way. So what I got to do is drill a bunch of holes here, and then we're going to weld it right onto this lip here. So we just put that lip underneath there like that. See, right along there. And yeah, I had to bang this. I had this more straight. I had to bang that in a little bit. And like I said, that's going to weld right in here somewhere. But I'm not sure whether I want to weld that in right now. I'd rather, that would go like that, and the quarter panel will weld onto that piece there. See, and the other brace is right here. Because I guess I could weld that on, but I'd have to weld this on first and make sure that's straight up and down and not curved. Because if it's off like that, then your quarter panel ain't gonna line up, or off like that. So we need to get that straight up and down, and yeah, it's probably best to get the quarter panel lined up first, and then weld that to that. But it's gonna be a little difficult. Anyway, while we're under there, we got this hole here, right here. We're gonna patch that. This, I'm thinking that's an exhaust hanger, but it's welded on there. I think I'm gonna unbolt that, then cut that, grind it smooth, and scrape some of this undercoating off and pour 15 this area. Well, not that one, we got a cut on that, but like from here over, because it'd be kind of difficult to get underneath there with this on there. And it'd probably be best to paint that black, or at least the inside here black. Either way. But yeah, we gotta grind all this lip here and put some weld through primer on. And same with, gotta drill the holes here, grind underneath here, and put some primer underneath there, and weld that on. Yeah, I'll probably just leave this for now, because we kind of need this a little bit loose, so it'll it'll move a little bit like that. Okay, same with the other side. I did this last night. Here's the old piece here. Okay, so we got to do that. Same here. What was this for? I think that was for an exhaust hanger. See, this one don't have an exhaust hanger on it. Yeah, this had a bolt and something through it. And that was an exhaust hanger. So again, it'll be a lot easier to weld it up through here without this on there. So let me weld up them 2 holes. And we'll prep this area and this area underneath here and put some 415 on it. Before I forget, I looked up them shock numbers. Yeah, they sent me the wrong ones, obviously, because it didn't have the point that would come up through here in the factory. They were, from what I could tell on their what it fits chart on eBay, 66 to 96 Impala and Caprice. So, yeah, they sent me the wrong ones. Although I think it had another number on the box. So, I don't know. So, some kind of screw up anyway. But anyway, yeah. If anybody needs shocks for this in the future, 66 and 96 Caprice Impala. Okay, well, let me get them prepped up and drill some holes and stuff, and I'll be... Hey guys, I got that bracket, what I did with it. Got that bracket cut off, and I don't know what these, I pulled these out. I don't know how they had them in there. Anyway, those aren't supposed to be there, I don't believe, because they're not on the other side. So, I don't know. And this one ain't even around. I think they butchered it somehow. But anyway, I made up this little plate. We're going to weld that little plate on there, cover that up, keep shit from getting in there. And then I ground up this little piece here for underneath. We'll weld that up through the top there. We'll weld that in there. So, yeah, let me do that. I'll spray some weld through primer on there first, and I'll be back. Okay, guys. Put some 415 over here. Got those frame holes. I wasn't going to put 415 over that. We'll put some primer over it for now. I got 415 under there. Got the holes drilled here and ground down these areas here. Used a Scotch Brite pad, and I'm gonna I got some black spray paint. We're just gonna paint the inner part of it. That's kind of be hard to get at. We'll paint that black. And we'll paint the part that's facing this way later. So we got that under there as well. Got the little patch here. Got that ground down. There's a little patch here. I still need to grind that down. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys. We got that piece clamped on there. I'm just gonna weld on all those holes there. I painted the inside of that black, like this one here. So I don't have enough clamps to clamp that side, so weld that one, clamp that side, and weld that one. I'll be back. Hey guys, I got it welded on there and ground down. So I'm going to put a little primer, and also put some black spray paint. I got another can. We'll paint that black for now. Like I said, later on we're going to go and pretty all this up with some seam sealer and whatever it takes and all that. But anyway, I'll be back. Oh, so all I did was just weld it here so we leave this loose. See how it's loose? we got to leave it loose, so because we don't know exactly where that's going to weld onto the quarter panel. Quarter panel is here, and that inner piece is right in here of this. So we're going to leave it like that till we get the quarter panels lined up and everything. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys. We got them both in. Sprayed a little black paint around them, so yeah. Okay, well, I think we're going to end the video on that. Got quite a bit done. Mainly those shock relocator brackets I built, and the deck lid. We still got to do some body work to that deck lid and paint the bottom black, but we can do that later. It's on there and fits good. And got these extensions on there, filled in a couple little holes. So yeah, it's a couple of more little bites out of the elephant. You know, we got a long ways to go. So I think next video we will do the mini tubs, do the inner and outer wheel wells. We gotta, like I said, we gotta cut off all this area of the floor here, and that wheel well will fit right against the frame. So we'll do away with all that. So we'll cut away the quarter panel. New quarter panel goes up to about here, but we'll go ahead and just cut her off out like this for now. Get the new wheel wells in there, and yeah, it'll be quite a bit of job there. We gotta cut off these trunk hinge brackets. Gotta widen the back seat thing and all that, so it'll be a little bit of work. We'll try to get both of them done next video. See, that's where the factory shocks went here, so that's going to be cut off. See, it's going to be cut off to about here. That's why they had to be relocated. So yeah, I don't have a new sponsor for this video, so I'm going to give a plug to the lawnmower company here, Powersmart. It works great. I've been cutting. I just cut this little area here. Got to cut grass every few days. And cut this area where the 78 Nova is. It's on my trailer. I had to bring it down to the title place to them verify the VIN number. Anyway, that I got the Title 42 paperwork all done from Title Clerk Services of Tulsa. If anybody needs title work done, contact them. They got a Facebook page and Google them, and their website will come up. Yeah, 150 bucks, pretty good deal. It's just that it was last registered in Texas, so if it's out of state, they have to physically see the car to verify the VIN number. The VIN number on the car matches on the paperwork. But anyway, it was only 59 bucks to register it. Altogether, paperwork and registration, 59, and then 150 for the Title Clerk Services of Tulsa to do their Title 42, which is a lot of work, and they got to send out certified letters and all that. So anyway, yeah, that's done. And the 88 Chevy van. In fact, we'll let the cat out of the bag. A guy from Topeka, Kansas, old guy, said he's retired. Wants to trade me his Harley. Said he's too old to ride anymore. Got a 98 Harley Fat Boy. I said, anything wrong with it? He goes, nope, you can drive it anywhere. I said, okay, I'll trade if you want to come and get it. Bring it down here and come get the van. So yeah, he's going to trade me that van for a Harley. So he's coming June 4th. Today's the 28th, so another week. And he's going to come down and get it. And I don't know if he's going to bring a trailer or not. I don't know if he's going to drive the Harley or bring a trailer and haul the Harley and then haul this back. I don't know. We'll see. I think he wants to drive it back, but I put in the ad, it needs a restoration. So he asked me if it'll make it back to Kansas, and I said, well, I've only driven around the property. I said it runs and drives fine, but the tires are old, and anyway, we'll find out what happens. Anyway, I had to do a Title 42 on that. I got that and got the title for it. So then I filed for the Nova. It's right there, and should have the title in a few days. It doesn't take very long. And I actually gave him the paperwork at the same time the Nova for the van. So any day now, they'll be mailing me the paperwork for the van. And I go get a title for that, and then I'm going to file for title for this car here. So it takes about 3 months. So, but I'm in no rush. The only thing, I'm in Oklahoma, so if the car's out of Oklahoma, they said they need the VIN title history from the state it was registered in, and they can't do it or something and all this stuff. So the last two, the van and the Nova, were last registered in Texas. So was this one, because it's actually got a Texas plate on it right there. So all I got to do is spend, like, I don't know, $5 I think it is, and you send in this this piece of paper, fill out this piece of paper, send it to Texas, and they'll send you back the VIN history. But with those two, they were too old. I guess after 20 years or something, it's out of the system. So all they do is they send back a piece of paper saying there's no history, it's too old, no active history on this vehicle. So I send that in to the Title Clerk Services of Tulsa, sent that to them and said, here it is. Go, oh, that's great, that's all we need. So they can do out-of-state ones, but that's what you'll need. Okay, so yeah, I got that going on. I'll do a video on the Harley. I got a Harley, guys. I've mentioned it before. It's underneath here. Maybe I'll dig that out. I just don't drive it anymore. Maybe I'll dig that one out when I get the other Harley, and we'll make a little Harley video. So yeah, check out this lawnmower. It's great, delivered right to your door. All you got to do is pull up that handle and tighten up the deals, and put in the new oil they give you, some gas, and it fires right up. Runs great, self-propelled and all that, from Powersmart. So I'll put the link and all that in the description. Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonably priced too, because I did buy a new one, not like that, but the cheapest new one I could get from, I don't know if I got it from Lowe's. And just a little cheapy. But this one's a hell of a lot better. It's bigger, more powerful, self-propelled for a few bucks more. So yeah, check them out. Okay, so subscribe if you haven't, like, comment, share, all that stuff. And next video, we're going to be painting, I've been calling it Bumblebee, but somebody says name it Yellow Jacket. The yellow's going on it. So next video will be that, painting it. Okay, so we'll see y'all next video. Thanks everybody for watching.